You don't want to be the family sitting there in April staring at last year's tax bill saying, we should have done something more to be able to plan for our tax situation. So, today we're talking about the three biggest things you can still do before the year end to keep more of what you've built and stop overpaying for your success. Stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss this.
Welcome into Legacy Beyond Wealth. Glad to have you with us on another video with Rob Shelton, founder of Axio Wealth Management. And I can't believe it's that time of year, fourth quarter, end of the year. I know, we got a month left when we're recording this. You might be watching this at another point in the year, but as you approach this final quarter, there's some important things you can do, Rob. And really, for those families that are proactive about it, this can be a very, very critical time of the year, and they can really get a leg up.
It is. I can't tell you, with our clients, we've designed what we call a fourth quarter checklist, and it's all built around taxes and things we got to do to try to maximize things before the end of the year. And the thing I love about it is no one family is exactly the same. And so taking this proactive approach, being able to know those essential things you got to do before the year end are so important. And we can really see the appreciation from the families coming back where we're trying to make sure we're being the most efficient we possibly can that helps them stay confident in their wealth management plan.
Yeah, very good. So we'll go through this checklist today. If you have questions for Rob, please reach out. All the contact info is in the show description for you. So make sure you check that out and get in touch with Axio Wealth Management. So I know a lot of people, when they think taxes, Rob, think, okay, well, I file my taxes in April, but those are when the bad conversations happen, right? Not the winter time, this time that we're talking about.
Yeah, there's a few things you could still do in April to try to have a little bit of impact on your taxes, but the big difference you can make is really in that fourth quarter planning. And I'll tell you this, I see so many people that chase tax planning strategies that are not in alignment with their life or where they want to be able to go. And that usually creates a lot of frustration as well. And so this fourth quarter, going through and having that discussion about what they could do on this checklist, but also not just doing things for the sake of paying less tax, but making sure that that's in alignment. Boy, you gain some great momentum when those two things come together.
Yeah, it's all about finding that alignment for sure. So let's talk about some of the moves that you can be making. I know people are curious and watching this video for that reason. So let's get practical with them and share some of these steps.
Yeah, one of the first ones out there that we take a look at is what we call tax loss harvesting. And what we're basically doing is trying to be strategic about the investments throughout the year and what do we need to do before the year end. So if I go back to December of 2022, the markets were down anywhere from 18 to 19%. And at that point in time, it may have made sense to sell certain investments and invest in others to be able to do what we call harvesting losses. And a lot of times that doesn't make sense to people. Wait, what? I want to invest to make money. But when the markets hand you lemons, it's great to make lemonade by harvesting some of those losses that can stay on your tax return. It's like a piggy bank, basically, that where you can be able to build up these losses over time. And then in the good years, when those stocks are up and you want to be able to liquidate some of those stocks to be able to live that best life, you could be able to offset those gains with those losses that you've already taken in prior years and get a good portion of that money out tax-free. Right now we're in the middle of helping a client with that, where they're able to liquidate over $1.6 million in gains and not have to pay any taxes because of the proactive strategies we took place years before that, building up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty significant, right? If you're doing it the right way and taking those right steps. So even if you're caught up in the performance, right, and you're worried about that, think about the tax side of that equation as well, and maybe some of those losses you can take advantage of. All right, what's number 2 on our list?
Yeah, for business owners, you got to be looking at your employer plans, your 401ks, profit sharing, or cash balance. We were working with a entrepreneur last year, and in the fourth quarter, we identified some significant gains that he had in his business, and it led to him to having $1.5 million in profit. And that put him in the highest tax bracket possible that could be out there. And it was a small business. And so we looked at maximizing a 401k and a profit sharing plan, but to really make a difference on the tax side, we had to implement something called a cash balance plan. And it really worked well for him. He was able to take over 550,000 and put that away in a retirement account and not have to pay taxes on that today. And chances are when he's retired, he's not going to be in that huge top tax bracket. It'll be at a bracket lower. So taking those strategies and looking at them now is critical, because then you can have all the ducks in a row for when April rolls around. So taking a look at those employer plans and making sure we're maximizing those to work for your benefit.
Are you ready to unlock the freedom to live your best life? Schedule your no-cost 60-minute discovery meeting with our team today. During this session, we'll take the time to understand your family story and financial dreams. Together, we'll craft a personalized roadmap designed to help you achieve your goals. Let's explore how we can unlock the freedom for you and your family to thrive. Just click the link in the description of today's show to get started.
I know business owners tune in a lot. I know you work with business owners quite a bit, so a little bit of a strategy for business owners to pay attention to. Now, that brings us to number 3 too, Rob, which again is big for you and something we talk about a lot here on Legacy Beyond Wealth, but that's giving with intention, right? Not just generosity, but when you're giving, make sure it's efficient and effective.
Absolutely. So that third thing is we find that a lot of wealthy families feel extremely blessed in receiving that wealth during their lifetime, and they want to be able to give back to the causes that they care the most about. And so in the big beautiful bill that was just passed back in July, they had to take a small bite out of charitable contributions to be able to afford all the other tax cuts they put out there. So taking a look at how you can strategically give to various causes you care about, but in a way that's most meaningful to them and also to you from a tax benefit. And sometimes that's much more than just writing a check. If you got some appreciated stock or other things of that nature, there's a lot of strategies that you can be able to take a look at, whether that be a donor advised fund or donating that stock over in kind or using some kind of a charitable trust that might be out there. A lot of great, unique opportunities. But again, that's where you have to have those conversations. Was talking with a client today, and he owns an audiology practice, and he loves giving to a charity that helps local low-income people be able to get hearing aids that couldn't afford them. And talking with him and putting together a strategic plan that meets his goals and values of giving back to those who are less fortunate, but at the same time helping to maximize his tax benefit, we came up with some really awesome strategies that maximize that value.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's why we talk about this stuff. So let's finish off with a little bit of a checklist we can actually provide people and some steps, some things to be making sure they actually get done before we hit the new year.
Right. So here's the 5 moves I'd recommend you take before the end of the year. Meet with your tax professional and advisor together. So critical to have that meeting at the same time in the same room where all 3 can be able to collaborate together. And this has got to be done well before December. I mean, we're doing that right now here in October, and we'll be wrapping the last ones up because that gives us 2 months to be able to go out there and really be able to execute. The next is look at those portfolios, have that conversation with them, ask them, what is tax loss harvesting? Well, that makes sense in my portfolio. And what kind of strategies are we using like that to really help me to where I might take advantage of a low year to not have to pay taxes in higher years? And then, you want to make sure that you're confirming your contributions in your retirement accounts and maximizing those to the best you possibly can. Number 4 would be to eliminate your 2025, estimate your 2025 tax bracket to evaluate Roth conversions. We have clients that, if you think of tax brackets kind of like stairs going up, they may have not reached the top of their tax bracket where they're currently at, and they could have another 20,000 that they could pay at the same rate and do a bit of a Roth conversion. And that's something that I think you'd want to take a look at. And last but not least, make sure you've documented your charitable intent and you've got a strategy that maximizes the value to you and that charity you're looking to be able to give to.
I love that. So as we kind of close this out, it's just always important to remind you, taxes aren't just about the dollars, right? It's about having direction. And I know it might seem very small potatoes sometimes. Oh, I'm just saving a few extra dollars, but every dollar that you save can be used for something that really matters to you, can it?
It does. And I hope it's okay to admit this, Ben. I tell clients this all the time. I'm cheap enough that I still pick up the penny that's laying in the gutter. So,
Yeah.
let's start talking about Benjamin Franklin's famous quote, "A penny saved is a penny earned." This is really a really important place because it's not about not paying your fair share, but not paying more than your fair share and making sure you're very strategic about what you can do to make those dollars work for you to help you live that best life.
All right, very good. Well, if this has been helpful for you, or if you want to actually sit down and begin looking at what you need to do before the end of the year with Rob and the team there at Axio Wealth Management, get in touch, axiowm.com. Again, all the contact information is in the show description, so check it out and get in touch. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please subscribe to it. We'll have another one coming again in a week, so stay tuned. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Ben.